Hey, yo, anime caveman. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 19th episode of Golden Kamuy. And I gotta say, I like how, at least at the start of the episode, it was seemingly just going to be a comforting and lively episode with a bit of humor here and there. And normally these type of episodes for Golden Kamuy satisfy me because you had literally the characters introduced with Tanagaki's group with the fortune teller lady and the kid with the name that kind of resembles Boner. When you had the scenes where this little kid was literally sleeping on the lap of fortune teller lady, that was funny. And then you had a bit of snippets here where it looked like he was fighting Shirashi, and they were fighting each other in like their little sleeps playfully. So when it came to visual comedy, this anime had it in aces. So I gotta give it credit to that. And then additionally, I like how the episode made the extra mile where the kid with the name that runs the Boner even said, "Oh yeah, we also made the little story that Tanagaki was the gigolo." And then when Ashirapa's like gigolo with like the stern face, that really had me laughing. So from a humor standpoint, this is actually pretty good because that whole gigolo story was built just a few episodes ago, and that felt like a throwaway line originally, just there as a little chuckle. But now that it was used here again, it was actually used to more humorous effect because now we actually have someone reacting to that little situation, to the made-up story. So again, when it comes to small doses of humor in the light moments, this anime perseveres pretty well. So I gotta give credit to the writing staff for that. And then in addition to that, I like how this episode further gave off the whole little sister, older brother dynamics of Sugimoto and Ashirpa when Sugimoto was telling Ashirpa that if you want you can go back to your grandmother. And then when Ashirpa's like, "No, I want to see this whole thing through before I can move on in life," I gotta admit, that scene was pretty sweet just to see Ashirpa's determination, because whenever we see that serious face of Ashirpa, it's pretty gratifying, you know? Just to get snippets of like her humorous side, then her serious side. It just makes Ashirpa feel like a more fully realized character. So that was pretty cool too. And then other character interaction moments alike were the scenes where Sumi was talking to one of his subordinates that is like a fanboy of him. And then again, this anime showed off its visual humor when this individual was saying, "Man, I wish I'd been able to fight with Sumi earlier. I wish I was born earlier." And then when he literally took a picture, when he cut a picture of his own face and then snapped it on the face and replaced it with like that subordinate that Sumi was in before he got the injury. And then when he was like much better, I almost want to facepalm, and I was like, man, this dude really wants to be stuck in a room with Sumi for like a whole entire day, and that would probably be the best day of his life. Shit, he'd probably have a heart attack of all the excitement, because in this episode, this man sounded like he was literally orgasming. So that shit was funny too, just showing off the strong characters in this show. And then it also shows the strong performances from all the actors, because literally every actor and actress in this anime has brought their A game every single episode in this show. While I may complain about the art animation, the one thing that I can never complain about is like the fucking voice acting and voice act. Like, I can never complain about that. And I can never complain about the characters and story. So again, it continues that trend, and it just makes this episode better. So that also helped in making this episode good. Then aside from that, other things I really loved from this episode was this episode pretty much, even though it didn't explicitly say that Ogata's the traitor, that the fortune teller later mentioned that someone from Ashirapa's crew was going to betray her, which was a toss-up between Sugimoto, Shirashi, and Ogata. This episode pretty much almost explicitly confirms it, because at this point, Shirashi, I just don't see him betraying the group. Not in Sugimoto, not really. But Ogata, when this episode really introduced his fucking backstory, and let me just get that out of the way. This episode was seemingly gonna be like a 7 out of 10 for me, but it fucking rose up beyond that when it introduced Ogata's backstory in regards to he had his mother make the same kind of soup for him every single day that normally his father would like, in an effort to see if the father would come back someday. And then when it mentioned Ogata's sick ass mind, where he was like, he fucking put rat poison in his mother's food to see if that would make the father come back. And then when it mentioned later on that Ogata actually met his half brother, and his half brother was treating him well and calling him big brother despite his big half brother being higher in rank. And then when I mentioned that Ogata actually killed that sweet brother from behind the back with the bullet, I was like, yo, man, Ogata is a fucking sociopath. Shit. Honestly, scenes like that kind of make him a bit more frightening than Tsurumi. Just because, shit, if he's willing to do that to his own flesh and blood, I can't imagine what he's going to want to do to Sugimoto or Asirpa once he inevitably is going to do his betrayal. So that's another thing this episode did really well, because it just increased the tension factor for the future episodes much, much more. It's going to make it much more ominous, because now I'm going to have the feeling of, when is this dude going to betray our crew? Or is our crew even going to find out? Is it going to be too late? Is he going to kill someone of our main crew? Holy shit. Just that scene alone makes this episode much, much more grand. And while the animation and art wasn't really up to par in a lot of the scenes in the episode, especially when our crew went to the Ainu village, because there's a few stills, and the animators didn't bother drawing faces sometimes when it was a distance shot, the budget in this episode clearly went into the Ogata backstory, because the art and animation in those sequences are all drawn, and it was really ominous. So from an art animation standpoint, it was average to good near the end portions. So that was a positive. And then when the episode ended off with the ending theme and everyone's seemingly happy, yeah, you see Ogata from like a distance with like the binoculars. I was like, man, this boy is scheming. This boy is scheming something against our fucking crew. And, oh, man, it really makes me feel for the group right now. Hope Sugimoto can find out soon. And taking all these factors into consideration, the humor, the tension building, and the great amount of characterization we got for Ogata, I gotta give this episode a brain-sprinking 9 out of 10. Because at this point, this episode's done a good job of now finally fleshing out the last of the current crew that's currently with our main crew. At this point, now we know a good amount from Asirpa. We know her backstory and characterization. We know a good amount of Sugimoto and his backstory and characterization now. We now know at least a good deal about Shirashi. He's pretty much just a thief. And we know his characterization. We now know about Tanigaki and his characterization. And we now know about the little boy, too, with the name that's Boner, too. We kind of know his backstory. The only thing we don't know much is the fortune teller lady. But at least for now, it doesn't seem like it's gonna... I don't think she's gonna factor in too much, maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I gotta say, this episode did a good job of now opening up the door. And for the most part now, at the very least, we know the positioning of the rest of the crew. And that's why this episode was a 9 out of 10 for me. It really did that and much more for me. So anyways, guys and gals, these are my thoughts on the episode. Comment down your thoughts on the episode below. Rate the video. Subscribe if you want to see more Golden Kamuy reviews and reactions. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a great and safe day weekend, guys and gals. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.